He used me for rent, spent it at the club, and ghosted me, so I made sure everyone knew who he really was. We met in 8th grade. He was the loud one, the kind of kid who could crack a joke and make the entire class laugh, even the teachers sometimes. I was quieter, a bit more reserved. But somehow, we clicked. Maybe it was the way we both rolled our eyes at the same stuff, or how we both hated gym class but still got competitive during dodgeball. It started with group projects, then sleepovers, then pretty soon we were at each other's houses every weekend like clockwork. We didn't knock. Ever. Just walked in, raided each other's fridges, argued over video games, shared music, traded hoodies when it was cold out. It wasn't just a surface level friendship. We talked about stuff most guys our age would have laughed off. Like our messed up family situations. His dad left when he was 9. My parents were together, but cold, almost like roommates. We shared what hurt, what scared us, and what we wanted out of life. When I say he was like a brother, I don't say that lightly, so fast forward to college. We didn't go to the same school, but we kept in touch, calls, memes, random late-night messages about some weird dream or a girl we liked. The bond was still there, or so I thought. It was a Wednesday night. I was finishing an assignment when my phone buzzed, his name on the screen. He sounded stressed, frantic even. Said he was behind on rent and his roommate was threatening to kick him out by the weekend. 6,000 Indian rupees. That's what he needed. Now, I wasn't rolling in cash. I was working part-time on campus, doing tutoring on the side, and scraping by like most students. But I had some money saved, just enough. I didn't think twice. I didn't ask questions. He needed help. I was his friend. So I transferred the money. He texted back almost instantly, "Bro, you're a lifesaver. I'll pay you back next month, promise." And that was that, or so I thought. 2 days later, I'm scrolling through Instagram. He posted a story. No big deal, right? First slide, he's at some upscale club, music blaring in the background, holding a bottle of Grey Goose with 2 other guys, grinning like he just won the lottery. Second slide? A girl in a tight red dress, laughing as he tagged her with a heart emoji. Third slide? Him, showing off a pair of sneakers that easily cost more than half the money I gave him. I sat there, staring at my screen, heart in my throat. Maybe, just maybe, it was old footage. Something from months ago. But the caption read, "Needed this night." Stress cleared 100 points. I didn't want to believe it. I convinced myself I was overthinking. But something felt off. So I messaged him, "Hey man, everything good with the rent? Did you manage to cover it okay?" He left me on read for 2 days. When he finally replied, it was one line, "Bro, don't stress. I'll send it back soon. Chill." That's when I knew there was no rent issue. No panic. No eviction threat. It was all just a performance, a story spun out for my benefit so he could get money. And I gave it without blinking. After seeing that club post and getting hit with that one-line brush off, I spent the next few days in my head, playing everything back like some badly written movie. I started scrolling through our old messages, trying to spot the signs I missed. Was he always this kind of person? Did I just refuse to see it? I remembered one time in high school, he borrowed money from another friend for textbooks. 2 days later, he showed up with a new watch. I brushed it off at the time, thinking maybe someone gifted it to him. Another time he got into a fight with his girlfriend and made it seem like she was crazy, manipulative, overbearing, but now I wondered if he'd just been using her too. The worst part? I felt stupid for doubting myself back then. Like I wanted so badly to believe he was a good guy that I let myself get played. Loyalty can make you blind if you're not careful. Every memory I revisited started feeling different, tainted. It was like looking at a photo you've always loved, only to realize there's something ugly in the background you never noticed. I still remember that summer after 10th grade, when our friendship felt untouchable. We had this beat-up old bicycle we shared, took turns riding it down the hill behind his apartment building, flying past neighbors yelling at us to slow down. I scraped my knee so bad one time, blood running down my leg, but he made this dramatic scene out of it, ripping up his own shirt to wrap my leg like some war medic. Then he dragged me to his kitchen, made me instant noodles, and we binged cartoons until sunset. We'd lie on the rooftop at night, talking about how we were gonna never be like our parents, never get boring, never betray each other. It sounds corny now, but in that moment, it felt like we were building something sacred. There was this one evening, we were sitting on a bench near the lake, sharing earbuds, listening to the same song on loop. He turned to me and said, "Bro, whatever happens, we've got each other. Right?" I said, "Always." And I meant it. After that, he stopped replying altogether. No calls, no texts, nothing. I'd see him post now and then, more club nights, food selfies, the occasional gym pic, but never a word to me. It was like I didn't exist anymore, and honestly, the money wasn't even the issue anymore. What really broke me was the realization that our entire friendship, something I thought was solid, real, built over years, was apparently worth less to him than a couple of drinks and some designer sneakers. It wasn't just betrayal. It was humiliation. I kept asking myself, was I that naive? Did I imagine the bond we had? After I got ghosted, I stayed quiet publicly, but I did start talking to people in our shared orbit. Not to gossip, not to get revenge. Just to make sense of things, I messaged an old mutual friend from school. Just a casual check-in, but eventually, I mentioned what had happened. Her reply? "Wait. He did that to you too?" Turns out I wasn't the only one. She lent him money back in our first year of college, never saw it again. Another guy told me he'd been left with a huge Uber bill after my friend dipped out mid-ride. One girl said he borrowed her charger and straight up never gave it back, not even expensive, but it was the attitude. "It's just a charger, chill." That kind of energy, pattern after pattern. Always minor enough to fly under the radar individually, but together? It was a mosaic of selfishness. That's when I realized I wasn't dumb. I wasn't the exception. I was just next in line. I sat on the edge of my bed, holding my phone, staring at the chat thread we hadn't touched in months. My finger hovered over the screen, not to message him, but to delete it. To erase the last message he sent, the one that said, "Chill." I couldn't chill. Not back then. Because I was angry. Not even at the money, but at myself. For being so damn loyal. For thinking history meant something. For defending him to people who already knew better, and yet, in that moment, something shifted. I realized that revenge didn't need to be loud to be satisfying. It didn't have to come with confrontation or drama. Sometimes, it's in the silence. In the act of living well without them. In letting go without needing an apology, but I wanted a little more than silence, so I started planning something small. Just a crack in the shiny image he presented to the world. Not out of cruelty, but to remind him, actions have consequences. You can't keep stepping on people and expect them to stay soft. It wasn't anger anymore. It was clarity, and that made it sweeter. I didn't go nuclear right away. That's not who I am. But I couldn't just sit with that wound and let it fester either. So I started paying attention to what he was posting, who he was hanging out with, where he worked. Turns out he just started an internship at a pretty decent company, one of those places that prides itself on integrity, teamwork, and character. Oh, the irony, one day, I made a burner account. Just a simple Instagram with no followers. I followed him and a few of his new friends. Waited. Watched. Eventually, he posted about his internship, him at the office, tagged with the company location. That was all I needed, so I wrote a polite, professional email. Not slanderous. Just factual. "Hello. I'm writing this anonymously because I believe in fairness and transparency. One of your interns has scammed multiple people for personal gain while publicly misrepresenting his behavior online. Attached are screenshots and transaction records from an incident where he manipulated a close friend for money under false pretenses, then used those funds for personal luxury purchases. I don't want to cause drama, just thought you'd want to be aware of the character representing your brand. I didn't expect anything, to be honest." But a week later, he posted a cryptic story. People really be out here ruining lives over nothing. Jealousy is wild. And then, just like that, his LinkedIn showed him open to work. Oops, I still haven't heard from him. Not a word. He probably still thinks I overreacted. Maybe he's telling people I was jealous or petty. But I don't care anymore. He showed me exactly who he was. And I responded with the same calm efficiency he never saw coming. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I didn't send angry messages or trash his name online. I let his own actions speak for themselves. I gave him the rope, he did the rest. 2 years passed. I graduated. Got a decent job. Moved to a new city. Started over in a lot of ways and left most of that drama behind me. Then one afternoon, I get a message on LinkedIn of all places. The name? The message? Short. Polite. Cold, hey, hope you're doing well. Any chance you'd be open to chatting about a job lead at your company? I'm trying to get a foot in. I stared at it for a long time. He didn't mention the money. The ghosting. The lies. Nothing. Just business. I didn't reply. Didn't block him either. I just left it there. Like a scar that doesn't hurt anymore but still reminds you, and that was the real closure, because when someone shows you who they are, believe them. The first time.